Hi guys, happy Tuesday, I think. Yeah, happy Tuesday. So, we are going to jump right back to Robert Cochrane, and it just keeps getting better and better and better, and it's crazy. So, here we go. Alright, now, things had been building to a head for some time as Cochrane became more and more dissatisfied with the direction of the coven. So in a letter to Bill Gray as early as the end of 1964, he said that he left the group, or he had felt that the group was holding him back. So it was time, he said, for a new leader to take over. If this happened, he and his wife could move on, as Cochrane wanted to follow a more mystical path. What's more mystical, really? So it seems that the considerable pressure and responsibilities that go with the ranks of a magister were weighing heavily on his shoulders. So, writing to Norman Gills in April of 1966, 2 months before he committed suicide, it's really sad. It's really sad. I really wonder what drove him to do that. So Cochrane said that he was now without friends and working quite happily on his own. However, he also asks, "Where do I go from here?" He added that, "I am at the bottom of a well with little or no hope for the future." Aw, that is sad though. I mean, if you really honestly think about that. So he was either on sick leave from his company or had left for a hope for the future. Or he had left. Okay, so on the positive side, he was contemplating a possible new career as either a professional fortune teller, to the extent that he had some business cards printed, which would be really amazing, a book author, or a television script writer. I think he should have been a television script writer. Why not? But anyways, alright, in fact, Cochrane refers to a television play he had been commissioned to write for the fee of €300. So he was also thinking about moving back to his childhood haunts in the smoke, London, to get away from his house in the Slough, which has many unhappy memories for us now, he says. Now, in early of 1966, Cochrane had been dropping broad hints to his friends that he might not be around after midsummer. In fact, Valiente was told by a mutual acquaintance that he had informed members of the coven that he had planned to take his own life then. Apparently, they did not take it seriously. Allegedly, his wife had left the Marshall home, because she feared Cochrane might become violent towards her and their young son. So while his wife left him, Cochrane was obviously in a depressed state and was prescribed tranquilizers and sleeping pills by his doctor. Sleeping pills. Alright, now on June 19th of 1966, Cochrane visited John Jones and his wife at their London home. He told them that he would be with them for an important date, but not in his body. He also said that he would soon be hunting from the other side. It's really sad. So in the Cochrane tradition, midsummer was traditionally the time when the divine priest king was symbolically sacrificed to the goddess, and it looked like he was planning to fulfill that role. This is really sad. I mean, wow, if you really, really think about that, that's sad. Wow. So Bill Gray was later to say that he believed that in this act, Cochrane actually did take on the mythical role of the Sacred King. Now, on June 23rd, Midsummer's Eve, Cochrane took a concoction of belladonna mixed with the drug Librium, that had been prescribed to him by his doctor for depression. He wrote 2 suicide notes to the coroner and to his wife's solicitor, and also posted a letter to Doreen Valiente. Now, in the letter, he said that by the time that she received it, he would be dead. When the lawyers got his letter, they immediately informed the local police, and they went to his house, broke in, and found Cochrane in the living room inside his sleeping bag, and laying on the sofa. He was still alive, but in a deep coma. That is sad. Alright, so an ambulance was called and took him to the hospital, where he died 9 days later. His passing was briefly reported in the local newspapers as the death of a commercial artist and abstract painter. So the police questioned several of Cochrane's associates about the circumstances of his death and the possible use of drugs in the coven. Now, Evan John Jones and his wife were interviewed at Hampstead Police Station in northwest London, where they were living at the time. And the police eventually decided that there was nothing suspicious about his death, and foul play was not suspected. So, at the coroner's inquest, it was stated that Cochrane died from congestion of the lungs and heart and renal failure caused by atropine poisoning. His wife gave evidence to the court that in 1961 Cochrane had suffered a nervous breakdown, and since then he had been depressed and talked about taking his life. It's still really, really scary and sad too. I mean, nobody should. I can understand where. I understand him, not him, but I mean, I understand a little bit about what his family might have went through. So, in one of his letters, he left. Cochrane said he had decided to take his own life while of sound mind, and referred to the fact that his wife had left him. The coroner duly issued a verdict of suicide, so Cochrane was buried in an unmarked grave in a public cemetery in Slough, and after his death, his sister-in-law burnt all his private papers. Wow. So what exactly did Robert Cochrane's clan of Tubal Cain believe in and practice? So, in common with other traditional groups, they mainly worked outdoors. So, their many ritual working sites included Burnham Beaches near Cochrane's home, the Sussex Downs above the Longman of Wilmington. Where did I go? Wilmington Hill figure, Whitney Clumps in Oxfordshire, New Timber Hill near the Brighton, the Cheddar George in Somerset, the Stipperstones in Shropshire, the Brecon Beacons in South Wales, where Cochrane used to go caving, and a private wood in the home counties owned by Ross Nichols. So the chief druid of the order of bards, ovates, and druids, and also used by Wiccans. Wow, that's really sad. That is really sad. So the rituals held on the Sussex Downs and on New Timber Hill were apparently instigated after Dorian Valiente joined. So after these meets, everyone stayed the night at her flat in nearby Brighton, and sometimes took part in social events the next day. The writer's Gardnerian initiator, Rosina Bishop, who was a friend of Dorian Valiente, met Robert Cochrane and other members of the coven once at a picnic on the Downs after one of their meets. So a photograph she took of this event has somehow found its way onto the internet. Now, the ritual structure and mythos of the clan of Tubal Cain is based on male and female mysteries that were known as the Grail Quest and the Order of the Sun. So, it's very interesting stuff. I mean, it's sad, but it's very interesting stuff. So, this latter was based on the myth of the young horned god or horned child born at the winter solstice, and whose symbol was the rising sun. In these masculine mysteries, so-called manly attributes and qualities, such as skill, courage, bravery, honor, and truthfulness, were taught to the men by the maid or priestess. The legends that were part of this teaching were those of the medieval outlaw Robin Hood and the once and future King Arthur. So according to clan mythology, such traditional male pursuits as lawmaking, government, crafts and trades, surveying, astronomy, and metalwork, blacksmith, were among the first arts of civilization taught to early humans by the gods. So this echoes the legend of the Watchers, or fallen angels, mentioned in the Old Testament and the Book of Enoch, and sometimes found in older craft traditions. Very interesting. I mean, that's really interesting. I love that right there. That's perfect. So, my hair is really funky today. I don't know why that side didn't want to do what I wanted it to, but whatever. So now, however, as Evan John Jones says, the presiding genius behind the first tentative moves towards all of these male-dominated creations was a woman cast in the image of the goddess. So I like that. That's, yeah. So these the symbols associated with these masculine mysteries were the skull and crossbones, the hammer and tongs derived from the smithcraft and associated with Tubal-Cain, a cockerel on a pillar, an ancient phallic symbol, a dabber with 8 rungs to climb to heaven, a ladder, a blackthorn stave for cursing, a javelin or shears, and a sieve used in divination, and a scourge. Now, all these connected with solar symbolism and the elemental force of fire. Now, in contrast to the above, the feminine mysteries were intimately connected to the element of water, the tides, fate, and the cycles of creation and destruction, ruled by the witch goddess. It's still really sad. So it really gets into what his tradition really stood for, and what he actually did and what they practiced. So, it's pretty interesting. So this is expressed through the medium of the physical plane in such traditionally female emotions and feelings as intuition, sensation, empathy, and imagery. So this does not mean, of course, that men are not capable of these emotional states. The feminine mysteries were taught by a clan priest or magister. So, hence the old craft tradition of all female covens being led by a male leader. So, I think we'll stop there. So that's pretty interesting. I mean, that's really, really sad, though. Really, really sad about him and about what he had done. So John Jones claimed. But yeah, are you guys reading the book at all? It's really good. It's really good, and it's really sad. All in one. I have got to remember John Jones claimed. Alright. So yeah, it's just very different. Very sad. That's a very sad way to go. I don't know, guys. That was just a really weird... reading that was very odd. It brought back some memories for me, and yeah, it just made me have more sympathy for him. So, but yeah, it's different. It's very different, so... But alright, guys. Yes, Ouija sessions are coming up in full tarot readings. Hands are getting better and better and better, so probably about tomorrow or Thursday. So, alright, guys, I'll see you guys tomorrow, probably live, and I love you guys very much. Remember to hit the bell so you guys get notified when I go live, and I love you guys all the way from Venus all the way back down. Wow. Yeah, my hands do feel better. So, alright, guys, I love you all, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.